Welcome to Alpha Insights. I'm Archer. Today we're unpacking fresh momentum in the legal cannabis market, and joining me is Josh, our market historian. Remember, if you have questions as we go, you can ask us at stockalpha.ai.
Thanks, Archer. Great to be here.
Josh, quick headline first. Virginia moved forward with a package of bills that could open retail sales, let hospitals use medical cannabis, and create resentencing pathways for past convictions. Why should investors sit up for that?
Because it's the classic policy to revenue pipeline. Legal retail sales are the mechanism that turns informal demand into taxable, reportable revenue. When a populous state like Virginia moves from decriminalization talk to actual licensing and retail, the addressable market expands materially for companies that can get licenses or partner with local operators. So the real question here is how fast regulators write the rules. The bills set the direction, but the implementation, who gets licenses, how many stores open, vertical integration limits, that's what decides who gets first mover advantage.
Right. And implementation can take months or longer, correct?
Exactly. Sometimes a year, sometimes two. But even the expectation of new licensed retail coming online can lift valuations for well-positioned operators ahead of revenue actually hitting the books.
Massachusetts also hit a milestone. Adult use sales have topped $9 billion since legalization. That sounds big.
It is big. $9 billion in cumulative adult use sales since 2018 tells you mature markets still have legs. Weather-driven spikes in tourism can create bumps, but the steady per capita spend shows consumers are comfortable buying legal product. I mean, when you look at the data, the takeaway is that scaling retail and wholesale efficiently matters. Operators that nail inventory pricing and product mix in those states can convert demand into sustainable cash flow.
New York's Cannabis Cup winners were also in the spotlight. How important are awards like that for the market?
They matter more than you might think. Awards influence retailer buying and consumer choice, especially in newer markets where shoppers are still learning brands. Winning products get shelf prominence and often pricing power.
Interesting.
Which connects to margins. If a brand can command premium pricing because customers prefer it, that lifts gross margins and helps retailers and brand owners both.
Okay, let's shift to the near-term catalysts. You mentioned fourth quarter earnings are coming for major operators. What's the investor focus there?
Look for revenue trends, margin recovery, and cash flow. Growing sales are only part of the story. The market wants to see gross margins improving and free cash flow turning positive or at least trending in the right direction. That will separate companies that are executing from those still burning through capital.
And for people who prefer a diversified approach, how should they think about ETFs versus single stocks?
ETFs that target U.S. cannabis provide diversified exposure and reduce single name risk, which is useful in a volatile sector. Single names like Trulieve, Green Thumb Industries, Curaleaf, and Tilray brands can swing harder. More upside, but more company-specific risk. Your choice depends on your risk tolerance and whether you want to bet on execution.
Right.
Also watch regulatory rulemaking in Virginia. The bills matter, but the details on license caps and integration rules will determine who can scale there quickly.
So what should listeners be doing with positions today while markets are open and trading?
Be selective. If you hold names, use upcoming quarterly reports as decision points. If you want to add exposure, consider buying on dips into companies showing margin improvement and disciplined capital allocation. And if you prefer less single name risk, the National Cannabis ETF route is a reasonable alternative. Yeah, that's a good point.
Before we go, Josh, can you give listeners 2 or 3 quick takeaways?
Sure. 1, Virginia's policy progress expands the long-term market opportunity, but timing depends on rulemaking. 2, Massachusetts' $9 billion milestone shows mature markets still grow and brands matter there. 3, use fourth quarter results to distinguish operators improving margins and cash flow from those that aren't.
Great, thanks Josh. And for our listeners, if you have questions about anything we discussed today, you can ask us directly at stockalpha.ai. We answer listener questions live. And for more market insights, head over to stockalpha.ai.